Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we discuss about the scanf function. And you know that we used this scanf function from our previous programs, and through this scanf functions we are reading characters from keyboard and storing them into these variables that we have defined. So let's go and talk about this scanf function. And basically scanf function is used for a formatted input. So what they call this type of input, or taking this type of input, is also called formatted inputs. So we can write down that formatted inputs using scanf. And here you can see that we have used this scanf function after we have prompted the user to enter the first number. Then we have used this scanf function. As we said before, this is a function because it has parentheses in front of it. That is a good indicator that this is a function. So this is a scanf function. This scanf function is defined properly here in the stdio library header, the standard library of C programming language, and this header, and that's why we are including the stdio.h header, because of the use of printf and scanf. And after that, let's go and try to break out this scanf statement. This scanf statement is divided into two parts. This is the format control string. So here, this part, this first part, before the comma, is called format control string. Format control string. So basically, using this string, we are defining the format of input that we are getting from the user. Here we have this $D, and this $D is a conversion specifier for integer. So we are indicating that we are expecting an integer value to be inputted by the user. So $D, this D stands for decimal numbers. So this $D in here, this is called the conversion specifier. Conversion specifier. And this D indicates that this is a decimal number, that is an integer. And after the comma we have the arguments. So basically this part is called the arguments for scanf function. And you notice that we have used this ampersand sign with the name of the variable. The ampersand sign is called the address operator. Address operator. So basically, this address operator provides the address of this variable so that the scanf function uses the address of that variable and stores the value into that address. So that's why we use this address operator in C programming language. In other languages, this is not very common, but this is very specific to the C programming language and the address operator that we use with the variables. Also, one last thing you need to remember is that when we use the scanf function and the user inputs their data, the scanf function expects the user to use the enter key on the keyboard after entering the data. So this enter on the keyboard is very important, and that is what the scanf function is expecting to see, that this is the end of the data that is being entered. So if you are entering 25 for this number, then you have to press enter key on your keyboard. And that's how the scanf function knows that the data has been completely entered, and now it's time for the scanf function to read it from the screen. So now you may be confused about this format control string and this conversion specifier. So for that, I want to give you another example. For example, for the format control string, what we can have is that we can have this way. One conversion specifier, this is one conversion specifier, and then there is a space, I'm not putting anything, space, and then another conversion specifier for integer, and then this whole part is called format control string, and this other part is going to be the arguments. So now using the format control string, we are telling the scanf function to read an integer, and then there should be a space after that integer, and then read another integer, and at the end there should be the enter on the keyboard. So here at the end will be the enter on the keyboard. So this is, as a whole, is called format control string, and these conversion specifiers, they are defining what type of data to be inputted on the keyboard. I hope now you have got a good understanding that what is the format control string overall and what is the conversion specifier. And that's it for this episode. In the coming episodes and throughout this series, we are going to be discussing about this scanf function in much more details in the coming episodes. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the coming episodes. Hello everyone, here I am on my laptop, and I wanted to show you how the format control string and the conversion specifiers, they are different from each other, and the example that we used on the board, we can use it here in this program as well. That's what I wanted to show you on the laptop so that you can understand it in a better way. You can see that from the previous episode we have two prompt messages for the user to enter the first number, then we read the first number separately, and then we have the second prompt for the user, and then we read the second number from the user, and then we put the result for the user, right? So let's go and see this program and execute it once so you can see how it worked. We enter the first number 34, we enter the second number 45, and then we get the result 79. So now using the format control string, we basically can read these two numbers on the same line. So how we can do that is that let's go and get rid of this second line. Here in the first prompt I will say that enter the first number, and at the second number separated by space. So we have brought a change to our prompt in here, and according to our prompt we also need to bring some changes to the format control string. So now I will put another conversion specifier d in here. Basically I'm saying for the scanf function to expect an integer, then a space, and then another integer, and then the first number or the first integer that was read in here, store it on this variable, and the second integer that is going to be read, store it in the second variable. So we have to provide the name of the second variable, num2. And that's it. Now basically by bringing this change we can read both numbers at the same time. Let's go and execute this program. So enter the first number and the second number separated by space. The first number 34, space 45, and as we said that the scanf function always expects you to enter the enter keyword on your keyboard so that the scanf function understands that the input of data is completed. So now I'm using the enter key on my keyboard, and that's it. The values were read from the keyboard and they were stored here in these variables, and then some calculations happened and the value of that calculation was stored here in this variable sum, and finally we printed this sum on the screen, which the result is 79. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the coming episodes. Stay tuned.